Hope you're doing well. Today's topic is why does the United States join World War I? Now, when the war starts, the U.S. has nothing to do with it. We're isolationist and we want to stay away. And if you're the U.S., why would you want to join the war? The Americans don't care that Archduke Franz Ferdinand got assassinated. They don't want to waste American lives. They don't want to send doughboys over to fight in Europe's war and get involved in Europe's problem. They recall Washington's neutrality proclamation. They say, let's stay out of this whole ordeal. And the truth is, we don't really know what side exactly we would join. I mean, there's all of these immigrants in the United States. There's a lot of Germans living in the United States who are pulling for the German Empire to win. It makes sense for us to stay out of the war. President Wilson says we're staying out of the war. But over time, over the next several years, as the war progresses, public opinion is going to shift. And there's going to be a support away from the German Empire towards the Allied powers. We're going to join their side April 6, 1917. So why is that? Why does the U.S. join the Allies? A couple things. One, we're economically, culturally tied to the Allies. The Allies are our friends, the people we trade with the most. It's Britain, it's France, and Europe. And there's kind of this connection there. And if you're friends in a fight, you kind of ought to help them. There's kind of this talk about how we owe a debt to France. And we say, boy, we got to pay our debt back to France because France, they helped us when we were in a bind. France helped us in the American Revolution. Now we could go repay that debt. Now we could be there to support our allies who were economically tied to as well. We're trading with Britain and France, making money, and we need them to win to pay us, and that helps our economy if the Allies win the war. So we're kind of tied to them economically, culturally. They're our friends. That's number one. Number two is the sinking of the Lusitania. This is in 1915. Okay, this ship from New York is heading to Liverpool in England, and it's sunk by German torpedoes. This idea of unrestricted submarine warfare is a cause of concern for the Americans. It's not just Lusitania. There's many ships that are sunk by German U-boats. And the problem, the Lusitania is the most famous. 128 Americans die. And the ship, when it's hit by that torpedo, it sinks very quickly. And if you're the Germans, you say, well, you're carrying contraband. This is total war. And there was munitions in the bottom of the Lusitania, and that's why it sank so fast. And the German submarines are saying, we're just preventing contraband and war materials from arriving to British and French, to the French forces. And then the Americans' response to that is, one, a lot of them don't know that there was contraband on the ship. And two, Germany didn't follow the normal legal procedures where you stop the vessel and you surface your submarines and you send in officials to go in there and officers, and they look for contraband. And normally, if there's not, you let them go. And if there is, you get all the civilians off of the boat, and then you sink it, and you get them into the lifeboats first. But the Germans didn't do that. They just sank the Lusitania, right? That causes some public outrage. That's reason number two. Reason number three, the Zimmermann telegraph. Okay, here's what happens. Germany sends a message. Okay, they send a message to Mexico. They say, hey, we'll help you invade the United States. You can get all that territory back that you lost in the Mexican-American War. We'll support you in that. Why don't you invade the United States? The British intelligence capture that message, that Zimmermann note. They decode it in room 40. They send it over to the Americans. Okay, that hits the newspapers March 1st, 1917. When the Americans read that, they're in outrage that Germany wants to support Mexico attacking us. That's going to turn opposition towards the German Empire and more support for the Allied powers, which were already leaning that way. And then here's your last reason, and that's the Russian Revolution. 1917, the Russian Revolution takes place. And when it does, Russia's turning communist. And, this is before George Kennan has coined the term containment, but President Wilson is kind of in a containment mindset. He wants to contain communism. When we get over and fight in World War I, we're going to send troops. The British and French do too. 15,000 troops go into Russia. We invade Russia, and we support the White Army, which is the anti-communist army in the Russian Civil War, to try to contain communism. It's not enough. The Red Army wins, and Russia turns communist. But our troops are there all the way to 1922. After the war, President Harding's the one who pulls out U.S. doughboys from Russia. So part of the reason of getting involved in World War I is this Russian Revolution and how you can help try to contain communism by having your soldiers over there. All that comes to head, and Congress declares war against Germany. That's April 6, 1917. The U.S. joins the war and helps give the economic push and that extra morale boost to get Germany to go ahead and quit, and the Allies win World War I. Thank you for listening.